Hi everyone, we hope all of you are great. Today we want to talk about ways to support first and second grade readers. So recently, Kaylin adopted Fountas and Pinnell Classroom for literacy and education. Students participate in whole group teaching and learning, small group teaching and learning, and independent work time. They are involved in interactive read-alouds and shared reading and book clubs and independent reading and so much more, all to improve reading comprehension and to grow the love for reading. So reading is thinking. It's more than just reading the words on the pages. When we respond to what we read or have conversations about books, students should be able to think within the text, beyond the text, and about the text. To improve comprehension at school, we use these question stems on the white paper on your screen, and you can use them at home too to give your child an advantage. Let's look at some examples. So at the top, thinking within the text. You might ask your child, what was the problem in the story? In the middle, thinking beyond the text, you might ask your child, tell me some ways that Elephant and Piggy are alike. And at the bottom, thinking about the text, is this a good title for the story? Why or why not? All of these questions help improve comprehension. Now let's talk about tips for reading, for building good reading habits. Our first habit is to personalize student learning whenever possible. First and second graders appreciate knowing expectations and having a voice and choice even when it comes to reading. Actually, especially when it comes to reading. Setting up a plan for reading, like choosing your favorite reading spot and establishing reading routines, like reading before bed or in the car, are great ways to empower young readers. Another way to hook your young reader is by helping them find high interest, good fit books. Finding authors and illustrators in genres they love might make them want to read more, and this will help them grow as readers. After all, a key factor in independent reading is choice. Sometimes independent reading can get a little bit tricky, especially when a book is too hard for the reader. When students are reading independently, they should read just right books. The reader should be able to read most of the words, understand the story, and be able to talk about the book. Here's a hint that can help all readers. If you take a sneak peek before you start to read a book, reading comprehension might be a little bit easier. Here's the hint. Look at the cover, read the title, think about what's happening on the cover, predict what the book might be about, read the blurb on the back of the book or the inside cover, read a page in the middle of the book and see if you can read most of the words, and you can even read the table of contents in a nonfiction book. All of these hints will help you activate your schema and help you understand the text better. Now, we all know that the only way to become a better reader is to read a lot of books. In an article written by Reading Rocks, it said that more than 88% of children who have difficulty reading at the end of first grade display similar difficulties at the end of fourth grade. Providing a plan for reading and having reading routines is critical for children in first and second grade. When children read every day, it creates lifelong readers, it builds vocabulary, it gives them the tools they need to be successful as readers, and it does so much more. Now we're going to move on to tips for reading to your child. First tip is to have fun. Try changing your voice when you're reading to meet the characters and match the characters in the story. Use hand gestures and act out different parts. Try to model fluency and self-correct when you make a mistake. There's nothing wrong with going back and rereading to show your child what to do when something doesn't sound right either. Tips for reading with your child. Giving students choice is always great. Maybe show your child 2 books and ask them to pick the book you might be reading tonight. Have them turn the pages if it's a chapter book or a picture book. Take turns reading. Talk about the illustrations. Make predictions. What do you think is going to happen on the next page? And ask questions that students have to think about, like, how would you feel if that happened to you? Or how do you think the character's feeling in a story? Here's some helpful hints for tricky words. When a child comes to a tricky word, we want them to start thinking about what's going on in their head. We want them to stop if it doesn't make sense. We want them to try to do something. We want them to go back and reread the sentence again, maybe check the pictures, skip the word and keep reading on and see if they can figure out the missing word. Developing strategies for tricky words is a goal for first and second graders. Here's some helpful hints for parents too when their child gets to a tricky word. We as parents want to try to practice wait time. Stop and let the child try to figure it out. Be encouraging. If they go back to the sentence and reread it, tell them they should be so proud of themselves for going back. If they read to the end of the sentence and then stop, praise them for making a choice to stop when something didn't sound right. When we're reading, we can always model good reading habits, so they'll practice the same habits when they're reading. And remember to do that sneak peek and talk about the cover and read a couple pages inside the book to help your reader. Lastly, books are magical, and being able to read is a gift. When we read with our children, we want them to think, to wonder, and to be curious about the world around them. Now, we may not be in your home, but we want you to know we're here for you if you need anything. Please reach out if we can help you in any way, and keep reading. Thanks, everyone.